That it'll settle in probably later on tonight or in the morning or something, but I'm just like, I'm in awe. This has been a dream. God is good, and I'm so thankful. I'm grateful for every opportunity. I'm thankful for American Idol. Everybody that's played a big part in this moment. I love you, and I'm just grateful.
When Jamal Roberts sat down for an interview recently, no one expected what was coming. With his eyes full of emotion, he opened up in a way he never had before. What he shared left fans stunned. For years, people believed he was living a dream life. From singing in his high school cafeteria to performing on national television, Jamal's journey looked like something out of a movie. But now, he's pulling back the curtain, revealing what really happened after he won American Idol, and the truth is far from the fairy tale everyone imagined.
The winner of American Idol is Jamal Roberts.
Jamal's win was broadcast to millions. He was crowned the champion of one of the biggest singing competitions in the world. Across the country, people celebrated him. Social media exploded with love and support. He was featured in magazines, asked to attend red carpet events, and labeled as the next big star. On the surface, it seemed like everything he had ever wanted was finally coming true. But behind the smiles and spotlight, Jamal was already facing the darker side of fame. Jamal revealed that right after he won, while the stage was still covered in confetti, he was quickly pulled aside and handed contracts to sign. He was still in shock, still shaking from the announcement, but the business side didn't wait. He signed a deal that looked amazing on paper: $250,000 in prize money and a major record deal with a well-known label. But as he explained during the interview, things weren't what they seemed. First, the $250,000 wasn't handed to him in full. It wasn't a check he could deposit or spend freely. It was what's called an advance. That meant he was getting part of it up front, maybe $100,000, but the rest was tied to creating and releasing an album under the label's strict guidelines. If the album didn't sell enough, the remaining money might never come.
26 million people voted, took the time out of their schedule to make sure I got this right here. That's an amazing journey. So many people believe in me, and that just gives me that urge to just keep moving and keep pushing.
And that wasn't the only surprise. Nearly half of the money went to taxes. On top of that, he had to pay a manager, agent, lawyers, and other team members, leaving him with much less than people assumed. Then came expenses like travel, clothes, studio time, and even paying backup singers and dancers. Jamal said that by the time his first single was out, he had already spent most of the money. "It felt like I was being paid with invisible money," Jamal said, "and I was expected to act like I was rich when I was just trying to stay afloat." He also shared how some of the things fans saw as gifts, like a flashy car he once posted online, were actually leased through sponsors and taken back after a few months. "Nothing was really mine," he admitted. "It was all for show." But for Jamal, the biggest shock wasn't about money, it was the contract itself. Winning American Idol came with a multi-album deal. He had to create up to 6 albums over several years, but the label had the power to cancel the deal after any one of them. That meant he was locked in, but they weren't. And with that contract, Jamal lost his creative freedom. He wasn't allowed to release music on his own. He couldn't work with other artists unless the label approved it. Even his song lyrics, outfits, and social media posts had to go through multiple people for approval. His debut album, which was highly anticipated, barely included any songs he had written himself. Everything was controlled from the music to the message.
I think this is the first time that I had peace, like before I sang, because I usually be like, oh Lord, I gotta do this song, But this time I was like, you know what? Let's just get up there and sing. And I wasn't stressed, I didn't miss no lyrics, I didn't do nothing. It was just a peace that came over me, and I'm thankful for that.
Every video shoot, tour, or promotional event was billed to him. If the album didn't make enough money, the costs were his to cover. That's why, after just one tour, Jamal stopped performing live. "I was digging myself into debt," he said. "It looked like I was successful, but I wasn't making any real money. I was just trying to survive." Other past winners had hinted at similar problems, but Jamal is the first to speak about it so openly. "I felt like I had to pretend to be happy," he said quietly. "Because if you complain, people think you're ungrateful." But I wasn't ungrateful, I was overwhelmed. One moment during the interview stood out. When asked, "Was winning American Idol everything you dreamed it would be?" Jamal paused. He looked down for a few seconds, then looked back up, his eyes heavy with emotion. "I thought I was walking into a world where I'd finally be taken care of," he said. "But I just found myself back in survival mode, only this time, the struggle had a prettier background." That sentence struck a chord with fans. People started re-watching his performances, noticing how his smile faded over time, how his interviews became shorter, and how he seemed more guarded in public. One fan wrote, "We thought he was just tired from working hard. But now I realize it was probably emotional exhaustion." Another commented, "He disappeared from the charts, and we didn't understand why. Now we do." But the reaction wasn't full of criticism, it was full of support. Fans flooded Jamal's social media pages with love. They streamed his newer music, bought his merchandise, and encouraged him to keep going. For many, Jamal wasn't just a singer. He was someone they saw themselves in, someone who came from nothing and fought for everything.
One part of the competition, I was like, I think I can chill now a little bit, but she was like, I want to see more, and it was just consistency, and I understood that completely.
What happens when the cameras stop rolling? For Jamal, that's when the real challenges began. Winning a show like American Idol can open doors, but it doesn't guarantee what's behind them. He explained how people think being on Spotify or Apple Music means you're making a lot of money. "That's not true," he said. "I need thousands of streams just to make enough to buy lunch." Music streaming services pay artists fractions of a penny per play. And because Jamal had to split those earnings with a label, manager, and other people on his team, he saw very little in return. He also tried going on tour as an opening act for a more popular artist. But with travel, hotel stays, paying his band, and food costs, Jamal said he often came home with less than $200, and sometimes even had to borrow money just to keep going. Selling t-shirts and hoodies might sound like easy money, but that too came with responsibilities. Jamal had to design them, order in bulk, handle shipping, and promote them himself, all while trying to stay creative and make music. "I realized I wasn't just a singer anymore," he said. "I was running a business, and no one ever taught me how to do that." Despite all the challenges, one thing has helped Jamal stay grounded his roots. He didn't grow up with famous parents or industry connections. He came from a 2-bedroom house, shared with 3 siblings. He started singing at church, using old gospel tapes to learn harmonies. His mom worked double shifts, and Jamal saved tips from washing dishes just to buy his first microphone. He recorded early songs in a closet, using a cheap mic and a laptop that barely worked. And that's what fans remember. That's the part of Jamal's story that makes him real. He's not polished or manufactured. He's raw, honest, and authentic. In a world full of filters and fake smiles, Jamal's truth stands out. "If I have anything going for me," he said, "it's that I'm still me. I haven't figured all this out, but I know who I am." And that might be what keeps him going. Now that the excitement of American Idol has faded and the reality of the industry has set in, Jamal has a tough decision to make. Staying with a label might mean bigger opportunities, but it also means continuing to give up control. On the other hand, going independent would allow him more freedom, but he'd be responsible for everything, including funding, promotion, and distribution. It's a risky move either way. He's hinted at frustrations with being told what to wear, what to post online, and which songs to release. "I want to make music that matters to me," he said. "Not just what fits a marketing plan." But without a major company behind him, it's hard to get noticed. Momentum fades quickly after a show like American Idol, and Jamal knows it. "This business isn't just about talent," he told fans in a Q&A. "It's about timing, connections, and luck." He's got the voice. He's got the story. But the industry is crowded and there are no guarantees. There's also the emotional toll. Burnout is real. Jamal said he's already felt it. The pressure to stay relevant, to please fans, and to meet contract demands is nonstop. If he's not careful, it could all become too much before he even reaches his full potential. Jamal's story is far from over. But if there's one lesson in all of this, it's that winning the show might be the easiest part. What comes after is the true challenge. Is the dream of American Idol broken? Maybe not completely, but it's clearly more complicated than people think. Jamal isn't just telling his story to complain. He's doing it to shed light on what so many artists go through. He wants the next generation of singers to know the truth that fame comes with a price, and it's not always what you expect. In the end, Jamal still has hope. His fans are still here. His voice still moves people. And even if the industry tries to mold him into something else, he's determined to stay true to himself. As he put it in his final words during the interview, "They gave me a mic, but I'm finally using it to say what I want." And that might just be the start of something real. And that's the real story behind Jamal's rise and the tough truth he faced after American Idol. What looked like a dream on TV was actually filled with pressure, debt, and broken promises. But even with all that, Jamal never lost who he was. He's still here, still making music, and now finally speaking up not just for himself, but for every artist who feels trapped by the system. If there's one thing to take away from his story, it's this: success isn't always shiny. Sometimes it's about surviving, speaking your truth, and holding on to your identity no matter what. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video powerful or eye-opening, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about the reality behind music competitions? Do you still see them the same way? Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and keep supporting honest artists like Jamal.